And then we get into a big 90s wrestling moment when Chris faced Sabu November 5th at 94's November to Remember, which is fun because remember the 5th of November. Someone who would remember the 5th of this November would be Sabu because Chris accidentally broke his freaking neck.
Going back through the Hard Knocks WWE produced documentary, and they cover this in there, and they're interviewing Chris, and I find it very funny. He never once... He kind of talked about, like, worrying about Sabu, but the first thing that came out of his mouth, and he repeated it a couple times, was like, man, it was really hard on me hurting that guy. I really had a hard time because I hurt that guy. And he kept trying to see him in the hospital, and he called up Heyman, and Heyman's like, we got this good gimmick for you, dude. And he's like, yeah, but is Sabu okay? He's like, but I'm about to make us some money, brother. You just you wait.
But also, too, like, we've met Sabu before. Like you could be like in charge of picking up Sabu at the airport, and then somehow he cuts himself on something and he's bleeding all over the place. And what are you gonna do? You're gonna be like, it was, oh, I was so concerned about Sabu. Or you'd be like, man, I can't believe this guy's bleeding in my car. Like, what are you gonna like? What reaction are you gonna take after meeting Sabu? Also, too, as a wrestler, like, I understand the aspect of Chris. Like, I'm a professional. I'm physical, but you're not going to get hurt wrestling me. And here's somebody got hurt wrestling you. So when you're see yourself as the ultimate professional and that happens, you take that personally. That's why he said, I can't believe I hurt somebody. Then also, too, if you look at it, it's a kind of a flapjack type bump where he should have took on his belly. But for whatever reason, Sabu was thinking, well, maybe I could do a flip bump out of this, or I'm too high, maybe I need a flip bump out of this.
Is it possible Sabu was up at the time? Is that a possibility?
It's on the table. It's
okay.
Most certainly something that could have happened. And he was launched.
Yeah.
Let's say that he was launched up in the air long enough for Sabu to think, well, maybe if I take the bump like this, or maybe I should do this. Where if like Chris wasn't as strong as he was and just kind of lifted him up enough, he wouldn't have had time to think about like, well, maybe I should take this like a flip bump or take this like a back body drop bump. Like, Chris launched him, so there is a little bit of culpability there. But Sabu kind of should have like known before he left the ground what type of bump he was going to take.
On the list of things that Chris Benoit has done, I think this is towards the lower end of things he should have taken responsibility for. And it's just weird to me. They probably cut up the documentary a little bit too, to just have that at the forefront, to make it, more centered on Benoit, who was a WWE superstar at the time. But man, I don't know. I understand from a professional perspective that he's like, I pride myself on not hurting people, but it's like, say you feel bad because the guy's neck is broken,
After the suicidal maniac injured Sabu, which that's a good joke. They painted Chris, for lack of a better word, cold-blooded killer, which really helped Chris on like his promo skills, because he could be that sort of monotone, dead-eyed, cold and calculating wrestler, and it made sense now. Like, it wasn't awkward; it was intimidating.
I mean, that's what Paulie was great at, is taking somebody's weakness and making it their strength. Chris is not a great promo. Well, I don't need him to be a great promo. I just need him to be a believable promo. Well, what's believable about him? He hurts people. Well, he doesn't really hurt people. He's too much of a professional. But in this instance, he hurt somebody for real. And now people believe that when he's giving somebody a clothesline, he's hurting them. Because there's that perception. And then perception is reality. Let's lean into that now.